Hello, I am Hiranyo Matapsakya. Today in this session, we will discuss some top expected questions with respect to uh, international relations. International relation, which is a part of your General Studies paper 2, which comprises of four domains, polity and governance, polity and governance, and social justice and international relations. So international relations or ওপৰত আপোনালোকৰ GS paper to directly question আহে GS paper 3 to economic diplomacy ওপৰত question আহে কেতিয়াবা connectivity project বা trade and investment related question আহিব পাৰে আৰু দেখা গৈছে paper 5 to with respect to India's neighbors, especially Bangladesh, we can because it is something which is associated with the polity of Assam. So sometimes you get question on that also. So for paper 2, 3, and 5, it is a very relevant topic. And essay ক্ষেত্ৰতো foreign policy plays an important role, but because that is a dimension which is always relevant. If you get a question on any broad current affairs topic, then international relation aspect will have to be highlighted by you in your essay. So overall, the reward that you get is much higher. Now, how to approach it, how to go about the question now, since we are just a few days away from it. Now here we will be looking at the least common least common multiplier, or the least way to manage it in a way that we are able to handle any type of questions that will come. So with that in mind, let us begin. So coming to international relation, আমি যেতিয়া ফৰেইন পলিচিৰ কথা কওঁ তেতিয়া আমি বেচিকেলি মই ইয়াতে 10টা ডাইমেনশ্যনৰ কথা কৈছো, 10টা এৰিয়াৰ কথা কৈছো. হোৱাট ইজ দ্য ইউনিক ৱে হিয়াৰ আমি স্পেচিফিক কুৱেশ্যনত নাচাম. আমি ফৰ ইউৰ ইনফৰমেশ্যন আই উইল টেল ইউ ইন 2020 MAINS APSC there was a question on India-USA relation, and then in 2022 we saw India, Pakistan, India, Nepal, India, Myanmar. So direct reward আছে এইটো টপিকৰ. এতিয়া আমি এবাৰ I am expecting question on India, Russia, India, China, and the important geopolitical events, mainly the two wars that we are seeing, Ukraine and the Gulf War, the war in the Middle East region, the Hamas and the Israel's war. So that and its implication for India, those are the areas where I can see questions coming. But এতিয়া তো আমি specific details কৰাৰ সময় নাই. আমি এতিয়া কি কৰিব পাৰো, যিটো একদম মানে least common factor that we can do, which will help us in covering any sort of question that might come in this area, is that আমি কিছুমান আমাৰ Indian foreign policy basics আৰু সেই বেসিক্সত সব ৰিলেশনতে সেই বেসিক্স খিনি কাম কৰিব. এতিয়া এটো আমাৰ স্কিল লেভেলৰ কথা যে কোনটো বস্তু কোনটো ৰিলেশনত এফেক্টিভ হ'ব, that will depend on how we analyze or how we appreciate the relation. So let us go into those key areas. Okay, so foreign policy বুলি যেতিয়া আমি কওঁ, ইণ্ডিয়াৰ প্ৰথম কথাটো ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট আটাইতকৈ হৈছে why do we have a foreign policy for India? It is to protect India's national interest. আমাৰ national interest protect কৰাৰ কাৰণে. এতিয়া national interest is a broad term, it's a vague, in a way it's a vague term because it is not clearly defined, but it has obviously through various scholarship we are able to deduce various elements of India's national interest. So starting with the idea of protecting India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. তার মানে কি India's security is paramount. Territorial integrity মানে কি আমাৰ যেটো ইন্ডিয়াৰ ম্যাপখন আমি যেটো দেখা পাওঁ, the map of India that we see, that is the first priority of India's foreign policy. That is, we have to keep it intact. It's not like we will allow China to transgress our territory and take the salami slicing out of India's territory, which they have been doing in LSE. So ebilak ami protect koribo. That is a primary purpose of foreign policy, to ensure that integrity, to support India as the geographical integrity, the territorial integrity, that has to be protected. Secondly, sovereignty. Sovereignty মানে কি আমাৰ supreme power. The supreme power with respect to how India will be governed should rest with the India. with the Indian government or Indians itself. It should not be dictated from any other state. For example, if you see a country like North Korea or a country like Belarus, we are very well able to see that it is not acting in its own interest, or you can say it is not acting on its own volition. There are external powers who are involved in it. So আমি এই দুটা আমাৰ main pillar আছে আমি কিয় foreign policy কৰো to ensure that sovereignty and territorial integrity of India is secured. So এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত আমাৰ কোনকেইটা ৰিলেশ্যনত এইটো বস্তু আটাইতকৈ প্ৰমিনেণ্টলি আমি দেখা পাওঁ চাইনা আৰু পাকিস্তানৰ লগত যদিও USA টো আমি ইয়াত ইনক্লুড কৰিব পাৰো বা চাইনা আৰু পাকিস্তানৰ পৰা আমি টেৰিটৰিয়েল থ্ৰেট আছে আমাৰ সিকিউৰিটি থ্ৰেট আছে সো যেতিয়া আমাৰ চাইনা আৰু পাকিস্তান ৰিলেশ্যনৰ কথা আহিব তেতিয়া সভাৰেনিটি এণ্ড টেৰিটৰিয়েল ইন্টিগ্ৰিটি এস্পেক্টটো আটাইতকৈ বেছি হাইলাইট হ'ব that security aspect to highlight hobo. So naturally our defense partnerships will highlight hobo. Our partnerships, the multilateral partnerships that we are involved in, say like Quad, everything goes to highlight hobo. So that will be the element that we will seek to cover, and that is one of the vital fundamentals of our foreign policy. Second is the strategic autonomy. Etu ami China or Pakistan khetrot boli nohoy etu that is our world view. Actually, in a famous book by Terashita Schaffer and Howard Schaffer, they said that Indian foreign policy etu the India wants regional primacy and strategic autonomy. So amar region to ami ataitke prominent player hisabe nijoke sam region mane amar South Asian region to aru beyond that in the world map we want to protect our strategic autonomy. Strategic autonomy mane ki mane ami kono alignment or mazot alignment নহয় আমি কোনো এলাইড মানে এলায়েন্সত নাহো কোনো মিলিটাৰী এলায়েন্স স্পেসিফিক্যালি যাতে মানে আমাৰ ভাল পোৱা বেয়া পোৱা যিয়ে নাথাকক আমি কোনোবাই যুদ্ধ কৰিবলৈ গ'ল গুচি যাম লাইক সে USA আৰু কানাডা they are in a military alliance in NATO. So even if Canada does not like or like it doesn't matter, they have to go along with US. So ami hetu ketio support nokoro. So amar uddesho hoise se we want to keep our options open. We don't want to be in an alliance with any partner. Here classic example ami ki dekha pao recently amar prime minister went to Russia, then our foreign minister went to the SCO summit. Similarly ami what or two we are participating, that we are engaging with the East. Azikali strategic autonomy jitu element etu eta samoyot ami non alignment ke that was a part of our foreign policy hetu vocabulary besi use korisilo kintu azikali ami ki use koru vocabulary multi factor multi alignment foreign policy ta mane ki ami kono karor logot mane kono individual ekon ba dukhonor logot engage nokoro. We will engage with multiple partners. We will engage with the East, we will engage with the West, we will engage with the global South. So it is in a way an open foreign policy that we are envisaging. So this is in sync with our basic fundamental principle of Panchil of Setu Asset. So 1954 at India China there was a summit of India and China in 1954, and in that the principles of Panchil came about. That clearly the as protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity, respecting each other's integrity, not in non-interference. Ebilak principle, pasta principle ase, which are the basic fundamentals. That is how we want to be treated, and that is how we will treat others. So that is you can say the most fundamental element of India's national interest. What we talk about is ensuring the security of India, that is sovereignty and territorial integrity of India, and then we want our unique or independent policy making space. How? Through strategic autonomy. We don't want to be under any military alliance. So what is not a military alliance? It is a economic, you can say it is a partnership. It's a partnership of like-minded countries, although there is an element of checking the aggressive rise of China because of the activities they are doing in South China Sea and Indian Ocean region, string of pearls and other such stuffs. But what we want is that through these type of groupings, we are promoting the idea of global peace. We do not want to engage in groupings so that a scenario like World War I or World War II comes about. Now, I hope you know, you may have studied World War I and II. Alliance formation there was competing alliances, and then when one small incident happened, then the alliance formation triggers itself, and then it results into a global war. So we are not espousing any such type of military alliances. Looking at other aspects of India's foreign policy, neighborhood first. Neighborhood first, এইটো আগতে আছিলে গুজৰাট ডক্ট্ৰিন। মই কৈছিলো আমাৰ নেবাৰহুড, আমাৰ যিটো ফৰেন পলিচিৰ একচুৱেলি 3টা কনচেন্ট্ৰিক চাৰ্কুলত আছে। আমাৰ যিটো ইমিডিয়েট ফৰেন পলিচি কনচাৰ্ন, দেট ইজ আৱাৰ ইমিডিয়েট নেবাৰহুড। সেইটো তাতে আমি হোৱাট ইজ আৱাৰ এছপিৰেশ্যন? আৱাৰ এছপিৰেশ্যন ইজ টু বি দ্য ৰিজনেল পাৱাৰ। চ' আমি আমাৰ নিজকে আমি কেনেকে চাম? উই লুক আৱাৰ চেল্ফ এজ দ্য prominent power. I mean, net security provider বুলিও চাওঁ, net security provider. So এনেকুৱা ক্ষেত্ৰত আমাৰ যেতিয়া বাংলাদেশৰ লগত ৰিলেশ্যন, আমাৰ পাকিস্তানৰ লগতো টু চাম এক্সটেণ্ট, শ্ৰীলংকাৰ লগত, নেপালৰ লগত আমি ইকুৱেল এক্সচেঞ্জেছ নকৰোঁ। আমি কি বুলি কওঁ যে অ'কে, আমি আনইকুৱেল এক্সচেঞ্জেছ কৰিম, মানে আমি অকণমান আমি বেছি দিম আৰু কম ল'ম। আমি মানে ট্ৰানজেকশ্যনেল ৰিলেশ্যন নাৰাখোঁ, আমি হয়তো বেছিকে দিমেই। That idea was first given in the Gujarat doctrine. I.K. Gujral was the Prime Minister of India at that time. So it basically, the principle is that you give more and take less. That is the type of relation that you want to develop. Show that general tendency of our neighbors is that they feel that India is their big brother, but we want them to see us as our elder brother who takes care of them. I mean, the humanitarian assistance of it, disaster relief of it. We are following this policy. So that is how we are trying to create our regional primacy position in the region. So neighborhood first policy, it is basically the interaction with our neighbor, immediate neighbor, in a non-transactional manner. I mean, kind of elder brotherly treatment. We are like, you can say, being the geographically as well as resource-wise, we are the prominent player, so we are acting in a responsible manner. তাৰপিছত আহি যায় আমাৰ এক্সটেণ্ডেড নেবাৰহুড। চ' প্ৰথম মই ক'লো আমাৰ ইমিডিয়েট যিটো নেবাৰহুড, এক্সটেণ্ডেড নেবাৰহুডত আমাৰ কি আহিলে? এইফালে আহিলে চেন্ট্ৰেল এছিয়া, এইফালে আহিলে ৱেষ্ট এছিয়া, এইফালে আহিলে সাউথ ইষ্ট এছিয়া, এইফালে ফাৰ ইষ্ট, ৰাছিয়া ফাৰ ইষ্ট, আৰু আদাৰ পাৰ্ট অফ এছিয়া, আৰু ইফালে you can say the rest of the world is other side. So এইখিনি extended neighborhood is also very important for us, not only for our economic needs, because those are resource-rich regions. West Asia in oil, natural gas, Central Asia again resource-rich, ASEAN countries very much resourceful countries. Trade and investment are relevant. Then Japan, Philippines, it's self-explanatory. So when we are talking about extended neighborhood, there also our focus to basic economic yet economic interaction of priority by, but at the same time we appreciate the fact that এইবিলাক region peaceful হৈ থাকিব লাগিব। এইবিলাক regionত কোনোবা dominant player মানে মনোপলি কৰিব নোৱাৰিব, নহলে কি হ'ব, ইণ্ডিয়াত হয়তো সিকিউৰিটিৰ চ্যালেঞ্জ আহিব, এনাৰ্জি সিকিউৰিটিৰ কথাও থাকিব, ইকনমিক ইনসিকিউৰিটিৰ কথাও থাকিব। সো এক্সটেন্ডেড নেবাৰহুডৰ আইডিয়াটো আমাৰ কাৰণে ৰিলেভেন্ট হয়। আৰু বিয়ন্ড এক্সটেন্ডেড নেবাৰহুড, across for the rest of the world, we espouse the idea of multilateralism, যেটো আমি পিছত কৈছো যে আমি বিশ্বাস কৰো যে কোনো ৰিজনাল বা স্মল কোটাৰী, স্মল গ্ৰুপছত থাকি পেলাই এনেকুৱা মানে লবি টাইপ ক্ৰিয়েট হ'ব নালাগে। আমি ইন্টাৰনেশ্যনেল ইনষ্টিটিউচনছ বিলাকক সাপোৰ্ট কৰো, যে UN হওক, WHO হওক, ট্ৰেড অৰ্গেনাইজেশ্যন হওক, G20 হওক, এইবিলাকতো কাইণ্ড অফ এটা গ্লোবেল চিম্বলিক ইনষ্টিটিউচনছ না। UN is a truly global institution. So our basic যিটো principle হয় Vasudev Kutumbakam, that sees the world as one family. So that is how we envisage the vision for the entire world. So আমি এনেকুৱা নহয় যে আমি অকল আমাৰ নিজৰ ইন্টাৰেষ্টত কাম কৰিম। আমি এইটো ভাবো যে like Aurobindo Ghosh কৈছে যে rise of India is for the rise of the world. So সেই প্ৰিন্সিপলত যিবিলাক গ্লোবেল প্ৰব্লেমছ সেইবিলাক সলভ কৰাৰ উদ্দেশ্যে চাওক, আজি terrorism ek climate change ek the kind of threat that is provided by or seen through nuclear war, the disruptive technologies that are emerging. So we believe that we need global solution. For global solution we need global governance. So hetu karone multilateral forum ase, those need to be protected, strengthened, and it needs to be democratized, most importantly, because those institutions are now manned by the vestiges of Second World War. So whoever won the Second World War, they are still in position of power. So that is what we see, the power dynamics in the world. Now we don't want that, we accept the fact that that is not the reality of this world. So I mean, it should be reflective of the current changes in power, because now the power has shifted towards the east. Countries like India, China, these are dominant, or you can say emerging powers, or you can already emerged. China is an emerged power. Similarly, Japan, Africa is a big country with so much resources and so much of demographic dividend, and still it is not having its share in international position. Now it is a good thing that in this recently concluded G20 summit, we brought the African Union into that forum. So those are good developments, and that is how we see the world. তাৰপিছত আমাৰ আহে এনাৰ্জি চিকিউৰিটি, that is also very important because আমি আমাৰ এনাৰ্জি নিডছ বিলাকটো ইম্পৰ্টৰ ওপৰতে ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট হয় না। চ' এতিয়া আমি কি কওঁ যে এতিয়া মিডল ইষ্টত গণ্ডগোল হৈ গ'ল, বা এতিয়া আমি আটাইতকৈ হাইয়েষ্ট ইম্পৰ্ট কৰোঁ ৰাছিয়াৰ পৰা। There are also question mark with respect to that. So I mean, our focus to it is that we should diversify our needs. We should diversify our destinations from which we are, or say import sources from which we are importing, and then we also should focus on indigenization. Either through green hydrogen or nuclear energy, those and so like if we work on those like elements, then energy security can be ensured more. But still, energy security karne our foreign policy plays an important part, because in Middle East, mainly, if you look at Middle East, relation with Middle East is mainly focused on the issue of energy security. Then economic diplomacy. Economic diplomacy basically trade and investment কাৰণে আমি এতিয়া EU লগত কৰি আছো, বা এইবিলাকৰ লগত ASEAN countries লগত কৰি আছো, USA লগত এটা important significant aspect হয় না economic diplomacy, trade and investment হওক, market access হওক, হয় না এতিয়া domestic আমাৰ ইয়াত agricultural goods কাৰণে access বিচাৰে USA, European Union, but we want to protect our domestic producers. Similarly, RCEP ক্ষেত্ৰতো আমি সেইবিলাক পাওঁ. So economic diplomacy also is a very important dimension of foreign policy. Similarly, and going further, connectivity very vital. Questions আহিছে already. Myanmar, Bangladesh, এইবিলাকৰ related connectivity projects ওপৰত questions আহিছে. Very important. Development কাৰণে প্ৰথমতে connectivity লাগিব. Connectivity not only gives access to our energy security কাৰণে আমাৰ কাৰণে important হয়, তাৰ লগতে ধৰক ট্ৰেড এণ্ড ইনভেষ্টমেণ্টৰ কাৰণে ভাল হয়, তাৰ উপৰিও let's say further আমাৰ মানে security of our country এটোৰ কাৰণেও necessary হয়. So বিভিন্ন connectivity projects are also vital importance because these are now trans country projects. এতিয়াতো আৰু it's not like we are only talking about air or we are talking about direct connectivity. Direct connectivity to India Middle East Economic Corridor of Chapahar, those will give direct connectivity routes, and those are significant for foreign policy. Multilateralism, counterterrorism, again, it's a global challenge. International, I mean, at a legal framework to define who is a terrorist, or cross-border, I mean, state-sponsored terrorism. So basically, we want to call the spade a spade. I mean, clearly, I mean, what is the intention behind it? So you want to, directly attack it and create a global public opinion or global international forum to tackle this global problem. তাৰপিছত humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. আমি এতিয়া দেখা পাওঁ এবাৰ পৰীক্ষাত আপোনালোকৰ বহুতবাৰ আহিছে, প্ৰিলিমছতো আহিছে, কোনটো যেটা অপাৰেশ্যন ৰাহাত হওক, কিবা হওক, টাৰ্কিত হৈছিল, ইউক্ৰেইনৰ ক্ষেত্ৰতো হৈছিল। So এইবিলাক আমি মাজে মাজে দেখা পাই থাকো. That is also another very important aspect of our foreign policy, because with climate change we are seeing frequent occurrence of disasters. So that the role that India plays, the COVID সময়টো আমি the role that India played, vaccine maitri and all. So those things are important. তাৰপিছত কালচাৰেল ডিপ্ল'মেচি, এগেইন দ্য ইণ্টাৰেকশ্যনছ, এতিয়া বাংলাদেশৰ লগত, নেপালৰ লগত ডিপ কালচাৰেল ৰুটছ আছে, হয় না। চ' বুদ্ধিষ্ট চাৰ্কিটৰ কথা কওঁ। চ' এইবিলাক বস্তুৱে আমাৰ আল্টিমেটলি ইট উইল ইম্প্ৰুভ আৱাৰ strength and improve our stature in neighboring countries and improve our position as a dominant, or you can say emerging power. So power কথা থাকে। Diaspora, again, another important aspect. Economic diplomacy to diaspora role play কৰে, তাৰ পৰা strategic ক্ষেত্ৰতো play কৰে, যেনেকৈ UN India USA nuclear agreement হৈছিল, that diaspora played an important role. So then coming to the relation with Gulf countries, there also diaspora plays a very important role. So again, mobilizing the diaspora is very important. আমি তো এতিয়া প্ৰবাসী ভাৰতীয় দিৱস পাতো। So মোৰ কথাটো হ'ল, after learning these things, these aspects of India's foreign policy, now questions যিকোনো আহক, এতিয়া suppose India ৰাছিয়াৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আহে, India ৰাছিয়াৰ যদি questionটো আহে, তেতিয়াহ'লে আমি কোনবিলাক বস্তু হাইলাইট কৰিব লাগিব? Sovereignty, integrity কথা, security কথাটো, strategic autonomy কথাটো, energy security কথাটো আহিব, economic diplomacy এটা aspect আহিব, connectivity। চাইনাৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আহিলে যদি আহে, তেতিয়াহ'লে কি হ'ব? এগেইন এইটো বস্তু আহিব, দেন এনাৰ্জি কথা নাই, ইকনমিক ডিপ্ল'মেচিৰ এছপেক্ট বিলাক আহিব, কানেক্টিভিটিৰ কথাবিলাক আহিব, চাইনাৰ BRI CPEC এইবিলাক ইছ্যুজ আছে, এনেকুৱাই। USA লগত হ'লে তেনেকে মাল্টিলেটাৰেলিজম, কাউণ্টাৰ টেৰৰিজম। চ' আমি whatever questions come, you can put it in this framework, say ইয়াৰ পৰাই কিছুমান বস্তু select কৰি আপুনি answer fit কৰিব পাৰে. That is the whole idea that I want to convey to you through this small session, because the scope of this session is not very wide, wherein we can discuss in details all the intricacies of bilateral relations. But still, I wanted to give you a basic funda through which at least you can try to address in some manner if you get a question. Even if you are not that well prepared, these things might help you in a way. Thank you, and all the best.